Hello, I am Baizhu, a practitioner of medicine at Boo Boo Pharmacy. So, are you experiencing any discomfort? If so, where? And how many days have the symptoms persisted? You don't require medical attention? Oh, so you came to see me? Ah, then I'm sorry. I'm afraid I must ask you to wait. I'd like to see the other patients first before discussing things any further. When on the road, one should take ample time to pause and appreciate the wondrous scenery along the way.
You're about to collapse, aren't you?
Life, death, and the world around us all follow a set of laws. But if you never test the limits, how can anyone know where the boundaries of these laws are? Oh, it's just some chronic problem I have flaring up again. Nothing to worry about. The weather is damp and chilly. I suggest getting indoors to avoid these conditions, if possible. Don't worry. As long as we watch the road ahead and avoid walking under the trees, then the lightning should not pose any problems for us.
So cold. So sleepy.
Chang-shang? Chang-shang? Out like a light. What lovely weather! Which reminds me, we just received a batch of herbs.
Don't worry. Even if Chi-Chi forgot to dry out the herbs, Herbalist Gui will certainly remember to put them out in the sun.
Yes, you're right. I would advise you to stay out of such windy conditions. Don't forget to always consider your health first. Good morning. I'm in the habit of enjoying a cup of tea before breakfast. Shall I pour some for you? You mustn't sit for extended periods of time after eating lunch. Instead, I recommend going for a walk. It's good for digestion. Good evening. If you're here for treatment, then I'm afraid that Boo Boo Pharmacy's clinic has already closed for the day. However, if you are experiencing a medical emergency, then I'll see what I can do for you, of course. If you happen to be here just to see me, then you're right on time. I'm off duty now. Ah, you're still awake. Is that a yawn I see? Yes, my master did entrust to me many medical formulas from the ancient era. However, although the ancient prescriptions were compiled by our ancestors and have stood the test of time, we mustn't also forget to look forward. Times have changed, and so have our surroundings and customs. Treatments that were effective in the bygone times may not prove to be as effective now. Clinging to the classic prescriptions of the past may not ultimately serve the best interest of the patients nowadays. People who suffer chronic illnesses are often mentally exhausted, and if their condition becomes critical, they may find themselves clinging to life with only a final thin thread of hope. At such a moment, healing their body is not the priority. The doctor should focus on bolstering their faith in themselves. After all, if the patient believes they aren't going to make it and gives up on themselves, then no medical treatment will be able to help them, no matter how sophisticated the treatment may be. I tend to anyone who comes to Boo Boo Pharmacy seeking medical attention, regardless of their wealth or status. I treat everyone fairly, and I do my best to heal them. You are no exception either. A poison to one may be a boon to another. What may be considered to be a universally harmful substance to one group of people may prove to be the perfect medicine needed to save another room of patients. The mechanism behind this is easily understood by those well-versed in pharmacology. It's just that I can't ever tell my patients these kinds of details. If they were to find out that I gave them a poisonous substance as a prescription, it might scare them away for good. You're the first person who's never flinched at hearing this. You are the wise traveler, after all. I'm sure you've seen a lot on your adventures. So, I suppose you'll be fine with more potent prescriptions in the future then? I've been worried about finding people to test my medicine on. The gods have somehow allowed a delusional person such as myself to explore the nature of life and death. This vision was just the thing I need, and I'm most thankful. It might sound ironic, but even I don't like taking bitter medicine. You're aware of my weak physical condition. I've been routinely taking medicine for some years now. All I can really do is eat some candied fruit afterward to get rid of the bitter aftertaste. I've met some people who jump to conclusions and believe they've contracted some deadly disease the moment they experience even the slightest discomfort. Reasoning with them is useless. Eventually, I came up with some tasteless pills made of sweet flour and jinxin and prescribed them to these patients. After they calmed down and their symptoms subsided, they praised the effectiveness of my secret medication. But I suppose I can't fault them for prioritizing their health. It's said that there are a wide variety of mushroom species native to Sumeru's rainforests, and that some species can even cause hallucinatory effects, which may have medicinal value. However, I've never had the opportunity to study these mushrooms in detail. I'm thinking to go and have a look for myself the next time I'm on vacation. Yes, you've guessed correctly. The preservation of a thread of Chi-Chi's consciousness was, in fact, the work of the Adepti. It's also thanks to Chi-Chi that I managed to come up with a way to save someone on the brink of death. Since the Adepti took pity on this child and even used their arts to keep her on this side of existence, I thought I'd take the opportunity to keep her around the pharmacy. There's no harm in that, is there? We have some differences in ideology, that's all. I don't harbor any ill will toward Director Hu. If anything, I think she's more wary of me. If possible, I sincerely wish that Director Hu would be more sensible about her business practices.
Oh, so you haven't forgotten about the time when she was disseminating flyers right outside of Boo Boo Pharmacy.
I just wish that she wouldn't be so concerned about Chi-Chi whenever she has nothing better to do.
Sounds like you have something against her.
It's not that I take issue with Director Hu. It's just that every time she kidnaps Chi-Chi, I have to go all the way to the Ministry of Civil Affairs to get someone to sort it all out. It's quite exhausting. Those with the blood of the Adepti have strong constitutions. Even when she is ill or injured, she does not require any medicine to recover. She isn't like your average mortal, who would be left with long-term residual issues if they did not receive medical treatment after a serious injury. If I were to hazard a guess about her health from a face reading, I would presume the Yu Heng's frequent looks of exhaustion are due to her long-time habits of burning the midnight oil and never giving her mind a rest. If she wishes to maintain her health, she should stop working and relax from time to time. Unfortunately, she is overly ambitious and seems to be completely willing to trade her health for her career. Even if I were to tell her this myself, I'm afraid she would not listen to me. Every time she comes to play with Chi-Chi, she complains about the taste of medicine and asks me if I have anything that isn't bitter. If the medicine will save someone's life, who cares how bitter it tastes, Ah, Zhongli. Yes, I can tell he is very knowledgeable. He can carry a conversation even when discussing niche topics like ancient medicine. He must also have some habits and practices for himself when it comes to healthy living. The common headache or fever should pose no problem for him, so he doesn't need a prescription from me. Only the most magnanimous soul could labor to preserve life by slaying evil spirits. I was once fortunate enough to see the conqueror of demons with my own eyes. We even brought him back to the pharmacy to take care of him for a day. Unfortunately, I did not know his true identity at the time, and didn't even have a chance to speak with him before he left on his own.
But you've seen him since then, haven't you? There's no reason to be upset.
Yes, you're right. Ah, so you have an acquaintance from the Sumeru Academia. In that case, could I trouble you to introduce me to this Tainari? I have many questions about herbal medicine that I would like to ask him. I am merely a mortal doctor, so I'm afraid I don't have many interesting stories to share. If you're looking for legends, then you should go to the Hoyo Tea House and listen to the storytellers there. If you're looking for some kind of thrilling story, I'm afraid I don't have one. Even when I was studying medicine under my late master, I didn't experience any particularly dire situations. My master saw that I had a good head on my shoulders, had me swear a simple oath, and took me in. That's all there was to it. The oath wasn't complicated. I still remember some of it. When a person comes seeking medical attention, I will not consider his status, nor will I be suspicious of or worry about any subsequent consequences. I shall strive to witness the patient's distress and feel it as if it were my own, for this is the hallmark of a great physician. I understand my master's intentions. He hoped that I would be able to put myself more in the patient's shoes and not ever be swayed by external factors. He really did have a compassionate heart and was always ready to sacrifice himself for others. It's unfortunate that he passed so early and never had the chance to live his years to their fullest. While it is a doctor's duty to save others, the doctor is also themselves a person who deserves to be saved. If we wish to preserve lives, we should strive for an outcome where everyone will live to see another day. Those who willingly give themselves up for others are worthy of our respect, but we should not accept their sacrifice as predestined or an inevitable part of life. I enjoy sorting medicinal ingredients and using each ingredient's unique properties to produce pills or ointments. I know this process like the back of my hand. People think that the process of making medicine is difficult and complicated, but to me, it brings endless enjoyment. Amazing, isn't it? That we can condense the bounties of heaven and earth into a tiny, unremarkable pill and use it to bring people back from the verge of death. The most difficult part of seeing patients isn't prescribing medication, but identifying the cause of the disease. There could be a million reasons why someone may feel unwell. Maybe they were having a friendly Draeun chili eating contest with someone and ended up damaging their stomach without realizing it. Or maybe circumstances led them to drink too much water, which caused them to start feeling nauseous. I just wish people would take better care of themselves and find something better to do than repeatedly put their bodies through so much distress. You shouldn't be a picky eater. Meat, eggs, milk, vegetables, fruit. They all have nutritional value and should be a regular part of your diet. But you should also avoid eating too much. Eating or drinking excessively can also be detrimental to your health. Take it from me. As a doctor, I know all too well that many health crises find their way into the body from the mouth. Why would you ever purchase so much candy? Just be sure not to eat it too quickly. And remember that too much candy can give you cavities. Me? I seldom indulge in sweets, and I don't often eat spicy food either. After all, if I don't watch what I eat, then how can I expect that of my patients?
Superb! More, please.
It is good, isn't it? Ah, well done. Your culinary skills have improved. Well, at least it still tastes better than medicine.
Refresh my memory, Baizhu. How do we say that again?
You mean how to wish someone a happy birthday?
Yes, precisely.
I hope that this day will be one filled with joy every year, and that you would always keep these times near. Happy birthday, traveler.
Hey, so what should I say now? Let me think. I can't think of anything. I sincerely wish you a happy birthday, too. What are you laughing at? People are so bothersome, with more traditions and twists than even a snake.
Everything must take its due course. No need to be impatient. Thanks to your hard work, I think I'm feeling stronger than ever. My energy is on the rise. I suppose it's due to the recent improvements in my condition. I don't feel so wary, even after a full day of seeing patients. This is all thanks to your efforts. You've been working hard day after day. Even though I'm the doctor, I've still had to trouble you with my health. How shameful. But don't worry. From this day on, I will take care of you.
The doctor will see you now.
A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the side effects. Seems like an emergency. Remember, health comes first. Taking a turn for the better.
What? So all that running around was for this?
Shang, behave. The life of an adventurer certainly isn't easy. Don't forget to wash your hands. Goodness knows where these things have been. I can still keep going.
A slippery situation.
I can't fall here. Exercise caution. Be mindful of your injuries. I shed this mortal coil. I'm sorry, Shang. Some doctor I am. Not my glasses. This is nothing. I'll treat your wounds. Time for a house call. Hopefully this won't take long. They say that a person's residence is an accurate reflection of their character, and I find it to be quite sensible. Now that I've seen your realm within for myself, yes, you indeed possess a most intriguing character. Good morning. The fresh and crisp morning air works wonders for lifting one's spirits. There's no better time to get a head start on any important tasks.
You look both wide awake and ready to seize the day. You go on. I'm gonna snooze a while longer.
They say that a person's residence is an accurate reflection of their character, and I find it to be quite sensible. Now that I've seen your realm within for myself, yes, you indeed possess a most intriguing character. My way of living differs slightly from those of others, but please don't worry about it. I've brought everything that's important to me. After all, it's a doctor's responsibility to take care of themselves first and foremost. Just a few things for my personal use. I'm not in the best physical condition, and have to take my medicine as soon as something begins to flare up. That's why I carry a medicine box wherever I go. Apart from the medicine, there are also quite a few bottles and jars in my possession. They're heavy and take up a lot of space, so I didn't bring too many of them along. Thank you, but there really is a lot. You're the owner of this place, and I don't want to take excessive advantage of your hospitality.
Look at him, mincing his words and trying to be polite. Let me explain. If you ask me, a lot is a grave understatement. You wouldn't believe how many of those jars there are. It'd probably take more than one empty room for everything to fit. Think twice before you say yes.
Let me write up a list then. I'll ask Gui to bring them over.
You seriously think he'll be able to carry everything on his own? Even if he got Chi-Chi to help, it'd still be impossible to bring them all in one go.
Perhaps I should take a trip back to the pharmacy to pack everything up and have them delivered a few boxes at a time. Sorry, I'm a bit of a hassle to deal with. They say that a person's residence is an accurate reflection of their character, and I find it to be quite sensible. Now that I've seen your realm within for myself, yes, you indeed possess a most intriguing character. What topics might you be interested in? I don't want to bore you with abstruse pharmacology, and you probably don't need to listen to my suggestions on healthy living.
Weren't you rambling about your bottles and jars? I think they're good conversation material.
That's right. Apart from herbal decoctions, I sometimes also prescribe topical medications for my patients. Topical medication often comes in the form of ointments and tinctures. The ingredients are complex and require a precise mixing ratio, so making them is a rather complicated process. Of course, I wouldn't expect my patients to be experts in medicine, so I usually make everything myself. The pre-processed ingredients essential for making the medicine are all soaked inside the jars.
Yes, there's lots of excellent stuff in there.
Mostly just herbs. Some contain potent toxins that must be processed before they can be used. While we're on the subject, I have to remind you that to some degree, all medicines have detrimental side effects on the body. The issue is not limited to a few specific ingredients. Even the mildest medicines have the potential to do more harm than good if they're not used with caution. You should refrain from taking medicine unless it's absolutely necessary. Mild discomfort often resolves itself with time. So, if you ever feel unwell, you should check in with me before taking anything. It always pays to be cautious. I had to tell you this even at the risk of sounding insufferable. They say that a person's residence is an accurate reflection of their character, and I find it to be quite sensible. Now that I've seen your realm within for myself, yes, you indeed possess a most intriguing character. Anything I want to do? The human lifespan is limited to no more than a century, and we often find ourselves with endless desires and insufficient time. But we don't have to start being all deep and existential in a casual conversation. There's actually something I'm planning to do. Liyue Harbor is a large place. Sometimes people get severely injured and become incapacitated, while others may land themselves in situations where it's difficult for them to ask for help. In either case, it is often well past the golden hour for treatment when the doctor finally arrives at the scene. People often wish for doctors to become more efficient, but I'm not able to teleport between places, and as a result, the best window for treatment is often missed. In situations like this, the patient should first try to help themselves. There are many ways to render self-aid before help arrives, but not everyone is aware of them. As a doctor, that's something within my power to change. I'm thinking of coming up with some ways to teach people basic first aid. Being a doctor comes with great responsibility. so I'm just trying to do my duty. Having someone to listen to me while I think aloud at length is already a great help. I'll make sure to go over the details with you once I've put together a better plan. I might need your help again when the time comes. They say that a person's residence is an accurate reflection of their character, and I find it to be quite sensible. Now that I've seen your realm within for myself, yes, you indeed possess a most intriguing character. Good night. It's important to follow the body's natural rhythm and rest when the sun is down. Staying up at night and napping throughout the day may sound tempting, but it's detrimental to your health. My apologies. I wasn't trying to call you out or anything. I'm just too accustomed to reminding my patients of the importance of sleeping at the right time. I hope you don't mind.